Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome into our morning radio show. It is the Christmas edition here. It is the day after Christmas, and we're coming to you from little chilly parts all around the country to spend the day with you here on this Tuesday morning. We're glad that you're here with us. My name is Alicia from Country Mama Musings, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Alicia. I hope your Christmas was great. I'm Ann from Andale Homestead.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas. It is Casey over here at Ormsby Farms.
And I'm Monica at Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Now look at that picture. If y'all are looking at this photo, look at me. I'm holding a little present. It's so cute. I just realized that I'm holding that little present there on our morning show screen here. So if you're joining us in Facebook or YouTube, you can see I'm holding a little present and Alicia's holding her little birdie still. So anyway, I hope y'all have had a wonderful, absolutely amazing holiday, amazing Christmas. It is Tuesday morning, and we are definitely recording this beforehand because we're all hopefully spending some wonderful time with our family, or just maybe just hanging out, enjoying the slowdown after the holidays. I think sometimes people can get a little sad after the climax of Christmas. They get a little sad maybe the week after. So hopefully we're here to brighten your day, brighten your morning if you're feeling that way.
I usually need a nap for about a week.
Yeah,
Right. Ain't that the truth?
Maybe our listeners are joining us from the couch as they've had that moment.
Well, it really is the thing. You work yourself all the way up until that day, and the day is over with, and the next morning you're like,
yeah,
what do I do now? I mean, like now it's all cleanup, I mean, thankfully I kind of make my kids clean up behind themselves on Christmas, but I know the day after Christmas can be very overwhelming for some people because there's nothing left to do maybe, or there is just cleanup to do or whatever it is. So hopefully it's just a relaxing day and a good day.
Well, I have a question for y'all because we've talked about on previous morning shows of when Eric Bland people put up their holiday decorations, but when do y'all take it down? When do you decide to take down the holiday Christmas decorations?
Well, usually at our house, at the Dale household, we wait until mid-January most of the time, and sometimes the end of January.
Yeah. That's about it, because you have, your 12 days of Christmas starts at Christmas, and then you have those 12 days. So it takes you into January.
Yes.
And then you start putting things away and you wrap up the season, which I thought was very interesting since I've brought up the 12 days of Christmas, and I may get this wrong. But you know that if you add up all the gifts from the 12 days of Christmas, I believe it comes to 365 days, 365 gifts.
Oh.
Because
that's math, and me and math are not really good
I know.
friends.
But could you imagine really doing that? Because when you sing that song, The 12 Days of Christmas, let's say the 5th day you get 5 golden rings. Did you know that on the 6th day, not only do you get that 6th present, but you get 5 golden rings again? And then 4 turtle doves again.
Oh.
And 3 French hens again. And then on the 7th day, you get those 6 things again, because I can't remember.
Well, hopefully on the 8th day, we'll get a bigger chicken coop to put all these birds in.
Right?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But by the time you get done with the 12 days of Christmas and you get those gifts repeatedly over and over again, you get 365 gifts at the end of that song.
Well, that's cool. I had never heard that before.
It's a lot of partridges in a pear tree.
It is.
Wow, that's a lot of gifts.
It is. Could you imagine? What is it? 10 Lords of Leaping? By the time you're done, you've got all these Lords of Leaping all over the homestead.
Well, I thought I had a lot of gifts.
Tuesday night over here.
It's a Tuesday night over at your place.
The Lord's leaving.
And over at Monica, she's probably got 12 maids of milking with all of their cows.
Oh my gosh. Well, we don't have any milk cows. We only have the beef ones. So they'd be chasing these beef cows around trying to get milk out of them, and it's not happening.
Maybe those are your Lords of Leaping.
That's definitely what it is.
I've got Casey, 7 swans a swimming.
There you go. Well, when do you take yours down, Casey? Do you leave yours up for a long time or what?
You know what's funny is that it has changed year after year. But there was like a couple years, so it was like December 27th. It's coming down and it's going up. And let me get my life together. Let me prep for the next year, which of course is what we're talking about on this episode, but this year I think I'm going to do mid-January. I think I'm going to do the 12 days of Christmas, which I think what ends up on like the 6th,
Yep.
like that.
I believe it's the 6th.
But what about you, Monica? When does Mr. Eric Bland want y'all to take down the Christmas decorations?
If he had his way, we would never take them down. But I feel like that takes away some of the magic of putting all the Christmas decorations up. So they will go up the first, second week in November, which by now, obviously, they've always been up for a while. And so by the time Christmas here is over, I'm ready to get my house back.
Gotcha.
However, I do allow for some give, and he starts calling me the Grinch if I start trying to pack things up before the end of January. So usually it's like the first week of February, and I'm packing things up like I literally need my house back, Eric. You have to stop. And it never stops him from still calling me the Grinch, or sorry, kids, mom doesn't love Jesus the way we all do. And I'm like, really? This is what's happening right now? So
oh my goodness.
Kids usually just laugh, and they usually they call me Grinch too. But no, I mean, they all understand, and he knows, and he doesn't really he just wants to give me a hard time about something. But yeah, usually it's like February, because that's when I have my kids start having birthdays at the very end of January. And by February, I'm like, I need the house. We need the house back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it has been March before, y'all.
Oh my word.
Whatever. But I do know the number of people that when they put their Christmas tree or their Christmas decorations up really early, like the 1st of November, by the Christmas night, they're ready for that stuff to be gone. I mean,
well, especially if you have a live tree. If you have a live tree, you're counting down even to make it to Christmas without it being a hazard. So if you've got the live tree, you've got to get things down and going shortly after Christmas, just for the sanity of everybody in the house, because there's pine needles everywhere.
Maybe I'll get a live tree now. Just
I was about to say, who here is live tree and who here is faux tree?
Faux tree.
Faux tree.
Here. We've done both. Now I'll tell you, I had a faux tree last year. I had a faux tree. And I think it had been up the entire year before that. And it was all up this last year till just a few weeks ago when I rearranged the living room for all of my little workout equipment.
Okay.
And I finally brought the tree upstairs. But I had it up all year. And actually, I had gone through a couple of stages in my lifetime where it's like the tree's staying up. And for January, it's all getting snowflakes. And then for February, I'm going to decorate it for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And then for March, it's going to be for St. Patty's Day. And you just go and go. And
girl, that's a lot of decorating.
It is, but I've done it a couple times. And, this time when I brought the tree up and put it away, it still had Valentine hearts all over it. I had little pink and red heart cookie cutters all over my Christmas tree. And I finally brought it upstairs. So it just depends. But if it's a live tree, I'm saying the day after Christmas, we're taking it apart. We're taking it down and putting it in the goat pen or something so that it can just do its thing.
Well, everything is so expensive now. Like I had always been real tree. That's just how we were raised. My mother always got a real tree. We put it up. When I moved to the farmhouse and we have such high ceilings here, we have about maybe 13 or 15 foot ceilings. I can't remember which ones they are.
Oh, wow.
And so I went to go buy, and I said, I'm going to buy a 10-foot Christmas tree. Well, the 10-foot Christmas trees at, the big box stores are like $200. I was like, I'm not getting a 10-foot Christmas tree. I was like, okay, I'll get a 9-foot one. That's, it's pretty close, right? Well, that was $175, and it looked like a little Charlie Brown tree in my high ceilings. So I'm like, all right, faux tree. Casey is pro faux tree from here on out. So I have a faux tree app.
My little tree that I just put away is a little faux tree, and I got it a couple years ago at the thrift store. And we have a little thrift store called Christian Women's United, and it's all the churches in the area, regardless of denomination. They all kind of get together, and they have this little thrift store that they run. And I got my little faux tree for $3. And I remember my son coming in, and it was decorated for $3. Wow. And my son came in, and he kind of laughed at it, because he's going to get a real tree this year. I said, that's fine. I'm doing the faux tree. Well, that was that year that the price in trees really spiked during the pandemic, And he was like, oh, my gosh, it's $150 for a tree.
Yeah.
Right.
And who's laughing now? Mama with her $3 bargain,
I
not
just want to
going out and
say,
spending 150.
Alicia, can you just come to my town and go to my thrift stores and try to find me something for $3? Like, Alicia has the best luck at going to thrift stores and finding stuff for a quarter or finding it for $1 or $3. And I go and it's like, even though $15 is not bad, it's like a shirt
Yeah.
for 10, you know?
Oh, wow.
I don't find those deals.
There's an art to it. There really is.
There
I
is,
think
and
there's
it depends on the thrift store too. I mean, if you've got people that are wanting to move merchandise, they're going to price it reasonable. You have people who think it's, we've got some thrift stores. It's like $5 for a mason jar.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? When we were
Right.
having those
think it's-
mason jar shortages, it's like
I
good
think it's all
grief.
about the timing too, though. If you think about timing, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's cleaning out their stuff after Christmas or right before Christmas, right? Right before the holidays. For me and for my kids and stuff, right before the holidays, we go through a major purge. Like the first week of December, we purge a ton of stuff because I used to, and even now, I want to make room for any toys, new
Right.
gadgets, new gifts, new clothing. My daughter's great about that. She'll be like, all right, it's almost my birthday. I'm going to purge my wardrobe. I need to see what I need, what I have. And so a lot of people do that. So when they do it, if they give to Goodwill or they, go to the thrift stores or whatever, now you're going to have a huge influx of all these things that people are going to want to sell for a good
Yeah.
price to get them off their shelves. So I think it really depends on the timing. And then again, if you're looking after the new year, people are looking to, especially when it comes upon New Year's, people are making those New Year's resolutions, all those things. People are saying, I'm going to clean house. I'm going to organize. And that's a whole nother like massive amount of people purging the things. And that's probably the best time to go to these, thrift stores and find all these great deals online. People are getting get rid of all that stuff. So thinking about that, thinking about New Year's resolutions and all that, do you guys make New Year's resolutions? Does anybody make New Year's resolutions here? I know Miss Ann, do you make a New Year's resolution?
I don't. I did for a long time, and then I constantly failed at keeping it. So I decided that I would make a life change, maybe, but not a resolution. No, I do not. And Alicia, do you?
I used to, I would always be the typical of, okay, after the holidays, I'm going to get in shape. And on January 1st, my new diet starts and my new exercise program starts. And then maybe you make it 6 weeks and then it's like, oh, Valentine's Day candy is here. And so you kind of give up on it. And then, like you said, Miss Ann, then it almost feels like it's a personal letdown. Like you
Yeah.
didn't follow through. And why put yourself through that torture? So we don't necessarily do the resolutions anymore. We do, like you said, we'll try to do some life changes. Or instead of setting up a New Year's resolution that you're probably going to fail at, we just look at some attainable goals for the entire year. And it doesn't mean you have to start day one. It can be an attainable goal 6 months from now, 9 months from now, but it's something that's in the back of your head. And I think we've kind of taken things like that. Like, we might wake up in the new year and say, you know what, I really want to do for the farm this year. I really want to focus on this, this, and this. And it's just kind of like an idea that we can work off of. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And there's no harm, no foul. But I think that's kind of where we go. We set ourselves up for positive things going forward for the next year that's not on a necessary timeline or by anybody's standards but our own.
Right. And Casey, do you make New Year's resolutions?
I'm kind of right there on that same bus that y'all are. I used to.
Beep, beep.
But now, ever since I moved on the homestead, which will be coming up on the 3rd year that I'm here, the resolution that I set is kind of what you were talking about, Alicia. What can I get done this following year to improve my homestead?
Okay.
And improve the farm. And that's what I kind of do. Like, I don't do the whole weight loss stuff anymore because I'm like, listen, I'm a big boy and I'll probably be a big boy for a while. So why deny myself the deliciousness of Valentine's Day chocolate? When I could just set a resolution to build a meat chicken pen that's bigger than the one that, that kind of stuff. So no, not really. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. What about over at the Bland's household?
No, you know what? I don't think we really do New Year's resolutions. We mainly just do, I think for us, it's more about goal setting and where do we want to be this time next year. End
Right.
of the year is always a time to reflect on what you have
Yeah.
and where you want to be, whether it's physically, spiritually, mentally, or even if you're dealing with preparedness. And I know we
Yeah.
talk about that a lot here on the show, but
Yeah.
it's super important to be prepared for anything that comes your way. And we make goals for those things. What do I have in my preparedness bins and my shelves, and what do I have ready for my family this year, and where do I want to be this time next year with that kind of items. And talking about that, I know Miss Ann says
Yep.
she has kind of a list. So if you're going thrift shopping because you know that people are purging things that they're not
Yes.
longer needing, what kind of items do you think, if you're looking in a prepper type of mindset, meaning you're just trying to really be ready for things that could come your way, what are
Right.
you looking for at thrift stores?
Well, it was amazing because I was looking up items. We're interested in getting our top 5 necessities that you would have to have in your home. And I found a list of thrift store finds of what to look for when you go in thrift stores. And there's a ton of them, but I'll only read out a few. There backpacks you can find, camping equipment you can find. There's fencing. Sometimes people will drop off chicken wire, extra chicken wire, especially we have a Habitat for Humanity in our town. And people will drop off things that they have that's extra that is very reasonable. There's flashlights that they have for sale there, canning equipment, all kinds of things, homeschool supplies. Um, Insulated thermoses are usually
Mhm.
there. There's kerosene
Oh, that's a good
heaters,
one.
kerosene heaters. People trade those in, maybe not in January, but during the spring. It's seasonal. These kinds of items are seasonal to look
Mhm.
for when you go through your thrift stores. But there's all sorts of tools and things that if you have something in mind, if you have a list that's kind of in mind and you're popping in these thrift stores and go, huh, I could use that. I could have that. I'll be a little bit better prepared. Do you guys have any kind of list or anything when you go to any kind of thrift stores or
I
Habitat for Humanity?
I don't have a list, but one thing I always look for, speaking of, the concept of being prepared, is I always look for percolator coffee pots
Uh-huh.
Yes.
because that's
Uh-huh.
something you make your coffee on an open fire if you don't have electricity. And I love having percolated coffee. Now, I'm not against the whole, little pods that you put in your little instant coffee makers that make one cup at a time. But I love percolated coffee. And matter of fact, our everyday coffee is percolated coffee, but it's an electric unit. But
Right.
if we don't have electricity, I know how to make a good old pot of percolated coffee and I can throw it out over on the camp stove.
There you
And so
go.
I look for those older percolator coffee setups that, a lot of people just don't want them anymore, and you can find them for a couple dollars
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's good.
Um, and old cast iron, little skillets
Yeah.
Yes.
or
Cast
pots
iron's
or
on the list. Mhm.
yeah, little things like that. That's what I always look for.
You know what's so interesting is here us discussing this. When I first moved out to the homestead, I was watching a larger YouTube channel, Living Traditions Homestead, and Sarah on it talked about when they moved out to their homestead. One thing they did is all the stuff that they thought they would need at the homestead, they looked for at thrift stores. And
Mhm.
so I thought at the time, I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Instead of buying it brand new and spending
Right.
hundreds and hundreds of dollars, go into the thrift stores and just see. And I got so many things like the tomato kind of grinder that separates the skin seeds from the pulp.
Right.
Mhm.
It was like $5.
Mhm.
All of my cast iron skillets, and I have about 10 of them, are from thrift stores. And
Good.
you just kind of add up all the little things that you need, and you can save hundreds of dollars
Oh gosh, yes.
on finding these kind of stuff to start your homestead, that people are purging, as we're saying, getting rid
Right.
of or wanting to buy something a little bit more new, but it still works. So I love the thrift store now. I'm a thrift
Yeah.
store.
Yeah. And Casey was saying how I get these deals. Last year, I got a steam canner
Cool.
$3.
What?
Nice.
$3 for a
I'm
steam
telling
canner.
you,
Now
and Dale, she
Yeah.
finds these
Oh
stuff for
my
like a
gracious.
quarter.
in
I
the
mean,
box. In the
seriously.
box still.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
that's pretty awesome.
So, Monica, you have a passel of kids there, darling. Do you get an opportunity to go to thrift stores very often? It's kind of hard to go with,
So there's not a lot of thrift stores right around me. So I think that's the hard part for me is that I've not like found places. Now I know of some places around here, and I have a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, asked me last year. She was like, "Hey, you're looking for stuff for your drama club. Why don't you go to the thrift store over in
Right.
Forney?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a thrift store over there." And so
Yeah.
I went, and I was just so happy with my decision to go over there. Now I don't get there a lot, but I've been there a few times. And
Mhm.
whenever I go, I'm usually just shopping with money in my pocket. It's burning a hole. And I'm all like, "Yep, I gotta spend this $20 that I got." But no, I mean, I think going with a list in mind is great. And I
Yeah.
definitely I like looking for those coffee pots, those water, the ones that she said coffee pot, but I'm looking for like the tea kettles. There you go. Like a tea
Yeah.
kettle. I
Mhm.
love those kind of things as well.
Mhm.
Just in general, things that I may not have, or even for me, I'm always thinking about what can my kids use
Yeah.
in the future too, because I'm always thinking ahead for my two grown boys, that the one that's married and then the other one that's about to be married. Do they need anything? Are they going to
Right.
need plates? Are they going to need glasses? Are they going to need mugs or whatever? Just little things. And you can get so many great things
Right.
at a thrift store. And if you go before the holidays and you're not necessarily looking for prepping items, you can find some really great things to use for crafting items for gifts.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you're
Oh
looking
yeah.
for really low cost ways to make gifts for people, whether it's birthdays or holidays, thrift stores are the way to go. I mean, I love
Mhm.
going in there with an idea in mind and then coming out fulfilled, if you will, with
Right.
all the items you need.
And they
Yeah.
often have like can openers and
Yeah.
blenders
Mhm.
and grinders. We've broken our only food processor. And so I'm going to be on the lookout to go and see if I can't find one that somebody's got in a thrift store somewhere.
Absolutely.
Well, you
And
think about it too.
chairs.
Yeah, chairs, tables,
Yes.
I think that kind of stuff too, you
Sofas.
forget that when people pass away, a lot of times family members have to take care of their estate, and a
Right.
lot of those items that the family members don't want go to thrift stores. They go to those places, so you can find some really
Right.
antique items, really, classy, classical, older things there that, maybe you didn't, anticipate finding. So
I
I
can
think
get an entire set of china tomorrow. I can go pick out from 10 sets of china complete for $5
yeah,
at this
exactly.
thrift
Oh,
store. What a
see,
beautiful gift that would be for a new couple or
Oh
something. It
Yeah,
says, "Oh,
I
here's
just
a
right.
whole set of
I say
china."
always go into a thrift store with an open mind,
Yeah.
more than an open wallet. Go in there with an open mind and hold your wallet tight, because you'll probably get more carried away and excited about all that. I think that
Well,
there's so many things.
Well, you
one
have to
thing as
shop.
far as the prep list is something that I was thinking about this week is, Papa Jim and I are considering building a shed to tiny home, and we won't have running water to start. And I said, "You know what? I can just do this or this or this." And I thought I could just use my ball water bath canning, my electric one, and heat water up in it and then just, open that spigot. But even
Mhm.
better, I can save my canner for canning, and I can go to the thrift store, and this is something for everybody to be mindful of. There are always those big, big coffee pots like you see at church socials.
Right.
They're usually
Right.
olive green, and you
Mhm.
can get that, and if you have a situation where maybe something happens and you're not gonna be able to utilize your kitchen, maybe you've had a water pipe freeze and burst and you're not gonna have running water.
Yeah.
There are different situations where you can say, "You know what? Let me go grab that church coffee pot that I've got that's gonna hold 30 cups of coffee, and we'll use our emergency reserve of water, and we'll go plug it in the bathroom where we still have power, and at least you'll have
Mhm.
hot water."
There you
I
go.
mean, they're just different ways of thinking about it, because if you lose running water, you're not gonna have hot water, and you're not gonna have something to wash that random dish or wash your hands or clean up until your water source is restored. You may
Right.
still have power, and so you can plug that in and use it. But you don't want to have to do something that's difficult. You don't wanna have to do something that's expensive or laborious. But for $3, you get yourself one of those little coffee pots from the church social, and you're set.
I mean,
Same with the
seriously,
turkey roaster. Same with the turkey roaster.
I got to come to your thrift store.
You
She
should. If you're
is.
ever in my area, Miss Ann, we'll do it.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. She always gets the like I literally sit here and I'm like, oh gosh, I need to tell Alicia, look for me this, this, and this, and I'll come up in March and pick all of it up.
There you go.
Because
I
she
just got
does
that.
get the
I
best
just got a
deal.
rebounder. I got that mini trampoline rebounder for fitness. They're like 150 to 200 bucks. I got it for $5.
Okay.
They've got
That's
great deals.
crazy. That's
Great
crazy.
deals. I love
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
thrifting.
amazing.
Iowa
Our
road trip.
thrift Yeah, there you go.
But you know, speaking of thrifting, and you know, we're just wrapping up the holiday, and this is right after Christmas. That reminds me of we've talked before about traditions and things that we do. When I was growing up, we didn't have the traditional Christmas a lot, but my dad's birthday was the 26th. Happy heavenly birthday, Dad. And
Oh,
we would always go shopping for our gifts for Christmas on his birthday. So we didn't
oh,
have Christmas, but we had Dad's birthday, and we would go out and we would hit all the sales, so everything would be a lot cheaper. And he would say, "My birthday is your birthday today. You guys get to pick out whatever you want." And so we would hit those after Christmas sales. Do you guys hit the after Christmas sales?
well, sure. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I can expand on that.
Yeah. Expound, please. What do
Yes,
you
I
what do
mean,
you
those
get?
after Christmas shells, there are things Worth and I don't usually purchase for each other. And so what we'll do is wait until after Christmas. And
Mhm.
then when everything goes on sale, we'll purchase something that maybe one of us have had on the list, something
So
like that.
hypothetical, Miss Ann, I'm driving you up to your favorite store, and I'm not even going to stop. I'm just going to open the door and tell you tuck and roll and jump. And what's the first thing you're going to run to when you get in that store? What's the first sale item that you would always go for after Christmas sale? What is it?
Well, I really want a rice cooker. I really want a rice cooker. And I want some other kitchen gadgets as well, but
So you'd head right for the kitchen supply aisle
kitchen supplies, kitchen gadgets.
and see what they've got on sale. Casey, what about you? If I were to kick you out the passenger side, say tuck and roll, buddy, and run into the store and it's Christmas clearance, what's the first thing that you're going to try to run and get in your basket?
You know what's crazy is as you were talking to Ann about this, I was thinking, I was like, I know she's going to come to me next.
I know.
But I am the crazy one that gets more Christmas decorations for the following year. Because
Yeah.
that is when I would, because anybody that knows me knows I'm extremely bougie with my holiday decorations. And the time after Christmas when everything's like 80 to 95% off, that's when I get it. We have a place called Home Goods. I don't know if y'all have it
Oh,
where
yeah.
y'all are.
Not where we are, but where I used to be. Yeah.
And we have a place called Michael's, which
Mhm.
is like arts and crafts kind of stuff. And maybe about 3 or 4 days after Christmas, all of their garland and wreaths and these things that are brand new and stunningly beautiful were 95% off. So, I mean, in $100, I decorated a 3,000 square foot house for literally $100 of brand new decor, and that's for any holiday. So I
Right.
run for the holiday stuff, the holiday decor, whether it's Christmas or trick or treat or fall or Valentine's Day. That's what I run. Well, I stop, drop, and roll since Alicia's throwing me out of the car. I'll go right to the seasonal aisle and see what they got on sale for decorations.
Monica, what about you?
I think honestly, I'm going straight for the kitchenware as well. Like, I love kitchen gadgets. Anything that can make my life in the kitchen easier or the time spent there shorter, I am going for. Usually, I feel like I'm always looking for like functional pots and pans that doesn't have all that Teflon on it. So I'm gonna go look for some quality cookware probably. It's usually what I'm looking for.
Nice. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest with you guys because I've been thinking about your answers, and I know right away if Papa Jim pulls up. Now the only store we've really got to do is Wally World in our area. So like if we drive the 20 miles to go to Wally World, and he's going to open that door and kick me out and say, "Go girl, go," I'm going to tuck and roll, get my cart, and I'm running right for the cordial cherries. We get them every year. We get them every year. I love
They're
those
so
cordial
good.
cherries, and they are a Christmas gift. We give them to each other for Christmas every year, and we give them to our adult children every year. Every year they get cordial cherries, and I don't mind paying what they are before Christmas so they can have them under the tree. But Lordy help me if I can drop out of that parking lot, tuck and roll, and grab the cart and go get them for 25 cents a box. I'm going to grab every last one of them. Which is maybe why I'm diabetic and overweight. I
Oh
won't be doing that
gosh.
this year. I won't be doing, but that's the first thing I go for. I go to that seasonal area and I get the candies that are on sale. And then I look for the baking mixes. You know, they have those baking mixes that are in an oven mitt with
Yes.
a whisk and a spoon. I mean, when you can pick those up for 99 cents or 50 cents, I like getting
Mhm.
those. I like getting the
And they'll
kits.
last until the next year. Most of them,
They
I mean,
will.
most of them
And
is
they make great gifts.
freeze-dried.
I like to get the seasonal kitchen towels and stuff because they'll last throughout the year, and I can use them on the farmstead. I mean, instead of spending $2 or $3 for a hand towel, I can get one for 25 cents. And I like getting, they've got those little kits that'll have the really nice little stoneware bowls for your chili, and you get a set of
Okay.
4 or what I really love is when you can get the cookie mixes with the little individual little cast iron skillets, so you can make a little cast iron skillet cookie. I love getting things like that. That and the little gift sets of, like, lotions and eau de
Hot sauce.
toilettes and hot sauce and things like that. I like getting those kits. That's where I'm going for my after Christmas sale. I'm running right to those aisles.
Okay. I like that idea.
And then, then I'll pick up a rice cooker on the way out and
Well, it really shows, it shows you how much they hike prices up anyways,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
if it was within a week span, if it can go from, I'm just going to use like Christmas garland. There's a Christmas garland that I have had my eye at, is $75 right now. At the end, 2 days after Christmas, I will be able to go in there and buy it for $12.
Oh
If that.
gosh.
Yeah.
If that, and that's, going in super early where it's not like, okay, we're giving it away now for free, which they don't do
Right.
that.
And that's where, it's a shame that that's where capitalism really plays into the whole consumerism mindset that we have to have it before a certain day. It's just as good on the 26th as it was on the 24th. And go get it then. And you don't have to have it on that specific day. Get it in advance, have it for next year, whatever. I think
Right.
that was really my dad's thing is we weren't independently wealthy or well to do growing up. My dad really scrimped and worked hard for the little bit that we had.
Right.
I mean, we did grow up poor. And so we didn't have the money for Christmas stuff. But boy, I tell you, that day after when it was his birthday, we were more than happy to go out and pick out a few things. And dad was happy to save 90%
Oh
because
yeah.
that
Yeah.
he could
That's
afford.
right.
Right.
So we would have our little Christmas toys and stuff as we had our roadkills too, because that's how poor we were. Not kidding. We ate roadkill. That's how poor we were.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're talking about those, the little gift sets with like the mittens with the cookie mix in it or that or whatever,
Uh-huh.
we always talk about freeze-dried foods and prepping your pantry and that kind of stuff. That's a way to prep it too, because you can open that bag, you can pour it in a mason jar and vacuum seal that top, and now you have some shelf-stable cookie mix that you
Absolutely.
probably got for 25 cents or 50 cents, um, to stock up your pantry. That's the way to go.
Right.
Those barbecue sauce sets. That if you don't make your own barbecue sauce, this is the best time to get the name brand ones, at a super cheap price. And I'm trying to think of all the other crazy little sets that used to have.
Oh, they have all kinds of little sets.
There was a Vienna sausage one year, which I thought, I remember always thinking of Alicia when I saw it.
Vienna sausage or summer sausage? There's a big difference.
Vienna sausage, and that's why I thought of you when I saw it, because we have talked about it on the podcast.
Somebody had the nerve to make a Vienna sausage holiday gift set.
It
That's
was.
crazy.
I'm telling you.
I'm perplexed.
Well, because it was. I didn't know that there were so many flavors. Um, And
Flavored Vienna sausage?
yeah, there was
I'm
all those
lost.
hickory smoked and
Oh,
He's thinking summer sausage. You got to be thinking summer sausage.
no, I am thinking the little jars of Vienna sausages that you can get at the $1.25 Trina.
little itty bitty weenies.
Your little
Itty
wieners.
bitty, yeah, little wieners. But yeah, it's a great way to stock up your pantry and
There you go.
Yeah.
necessarily with holiday stuff.
And that is another great thing to look for on that after Christmas sale is looking for the Hillshire Farms gift sets that have the summer sausages, the pepperonis, the salamis,
Right.
and the cheeses.
Mhm.
Get those at a discount because golly, that is a great bargain right there. And you're still going to be munching and snacking after the holiday once Christmas passes.
Mhm.
Up through New Year's and even a few days after, you're still going to kind of be in that grazing mode because you've had the big meals. Now you just want to graze, and those are perfect things to graze.
And those things seem to last for like 6 months. I mean,
Right?
they last,
They last forever.
That's a great place. That's a great thing to put in your little prepper pantry there.
It
Now,
is.
Absolutely.
Right.
talking about grazing and all those little snacky things, do you guys have any type of special New Year's get-togethers, or what do you, in general, we do something special for New Year's. When we were in Maryland, we would invite as many people over as possible into our very small home, and we would just pack it full of people, and we would have just a buffet of all kinds of dinner items
Aw,
and snacky items,
that's
and we
fun.
would just basically have dinner and just games, and we would just play games and hang out with our friends and family, and we would ring in the new year. And when we moved to Texas, we obviously left all our friends behind, and so we kind of started over again. And when we were in Maryland, we actually got some plastic cups one year, and we decided that everybody that was going to attend would write their names on the cups. And
Mhm.
each year they would come back, they would re-add the next year they were there. And if
Oh,
you weren't there,
cool.
someone would take your cup and then add their name to your cup, and then they would put the year that they were there. But when we left Maryland, we left all our friends, and we actually couldn't find the cups. We lost the cups in
Oh,
transition.
gosh.
So the
Oh,
first
no.
year we were here, we actually bought a new set of cups here for Texas, and we started, finding new friends here, and we invited some friends over here, and we started that tradition again. But it's really fun to have your
Oh, how
same
cool.
plastic cup, and we've got these, like, they almost look like those cups you got at Pizza Hut. Those, everybody knows those plastic red or clear cups you would get at
Uh-huh.
Pizza Hut back in the day.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
basically the same cups, except they're like orange and green and blue and like
Yeah.
yellow or something, or red. Anyway, we take our name, we take a Sharpie, and we write our names on the Sharpie, and we write the years now that we've done this. And each year after New Year's, we wash them, we put them back away, we pack them back up, and we bring them out on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. And so we're able to use them just New Year's Day. And we always kind of snack up until that big holiday thing we do again for New Year's. But it always made me wonder if anybody did anything else for New Year's that was, we don't go out to party. We just kind of invite people in and say,
Yeah.
come in, be comfortable, eat some food, and play some games, and just come and, ring in the new year with, family and friends. So
Oh, how
my dad
fun.
doesn't ever want to come. He's a party pooper. He stays at home. But my sister comes, and, my in-laws, and it's so much fun to see each cup each year too, especially
I
when you
love
watch.
the cup idea.
Yeah, especially
Me
when you watch the
too. I'm
kids.
like writing that down over here. Like as we're
Yeah.
Which is
doing our
awesome.
show, I'm like, be sure to get some of that.
It's fantastic, and they're not expensive for like a pack of 24, but it's such a fun thing. So even if you don't do it on New Year's, maybe that can be a Christmas tradition next year or whatever.
Right.
Well,
It's
Casey,
fun.
didn't Monica and her tribe come out to your homestead? You need to get cups, and every time Monica and the kids come visit, they can write on their cup.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I know
Yes,
she's planning another trip.
I am.
Oh.
yes. Monica and her football team joined me last year, I think it was.
They need to
Uh,
make it retroactive and write it for the first time they were there, and then add to it.
Yes.
And Miss Ann, you could do that with your grandkids. How special would that
Yes.
be with the
That's
Yes.
so
grandbabies?
That would be adorable. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to find out more about this trip because,
I know. When I come
Some of
through,
the
I'm going to have to make
stuff.
another stop. Go a
No,
little
what I'm
further north.
saying is I'll come to Casey's. I'm not invited. I'm inviting myself.
Oh, yes.
You're
we're gonna
always
make
you're
it.
It's
always
always
invited. There's
that's an
always
open invitation, Miss
Yes.
Ann.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. There you
Casey
go.
didn't invite me. I invited myself because it's an
There you go.
open-ended invitation all the time.
You just have to
Okay.
let them know when.
So,
Yeah,
so
I can open my gate.
There you go. I know. I mean, I don't know that any of y'all do like, New Year's parties, but do you have any sort of, favorite New Year's
Well,
snack that
Monica,
you make?
I'm a party person. Like
I
I
know.
throw, like my family makes fun of me and they're like, "Oh, it's a Wednesday. Casey's gonna throw a dinner party." I love throwing any types of parties, and to harp on it again, that cup idea, Monica, is
Well, you
genius.
could do wine glasses, where you actually, take a little vinyl or do something on a wine glass, and then they can write in Sharpie. I know that's not as bougie as you would normally have, but
Fluffy
you can,
paint.
with the black Sharpie, they can write the year. If you vinyl their name, then they can write their year on the other side of it. And each year,
That
all they
is
do is add the year
Mm,
that they're there with you. And you can look back on that later. And, years later when someone's not there with you, it's very bittersweet to see their
to see their
handwriting
cup.
Oh my
and to see
gosh,
their cup.
Casey, wine glasses with the little markers that you put on the stem, the little
right.
rings. What do
Uh-huh.
you
Oh
call
yes,
them?
the wine markers,
Yeah, they're the little wine fobs, the little
charms,
pretty
the wine charms.
the wine
Yeah.
charms.
Yep.
Everybody, you could do a different year wine charm every year and you could do a cricket to put their name on the outside, and then
There you
every
go.
year they add a new little wine charm.
I'm like writing down all these like ideas.
Oh, I love
But it's just,
that.
you're ringing in a new year with someone,
Yes.
and sometimes that person, there's going to be a year inevitably that they're not going to be with you. And whether they can't because of some reason or whether it's because they've gone home for good,
Yeah.
you don't know. But it's very bittersweet to see people's handwriting. And even if it's just a year or whatever it is, just sign their name. There's something very special about that. And
That
it's,
is
it's
sweet.
very, it's
Yeah.
very nice to have that. So, yeah, I think that that's a
I love
fun
that.
tradition that we do. And of course, I led into it with all the snacky things, but we're always eating great
Well,
snacks. And one of my
snacks because they're important.
well, snacks are important, but one of my favorite things to do on the week of and like at the holiday season, my mother-in-law makes, I don't even make them. It's like my favorite that she makes. She makes these cheese balls
Yeah.
and they're like, I don't even know. It's like just magic. And she
Yeah.
makes the cheese balls. And then I do like the super simple stuff where it's like block of cream cheese on a plate. And I throw a bunch of my like hot pepper jam over top of
Right.
it. And
Yes.
we all just basically eat cheese and crackers for just days on
Days.
end.
Yes.
And we're all bloated by January
Of
2nd,
course.
but
Yeah, cheese.
like,
Yeah.
Time for the charcuterie boards.
there you go.
There you go.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
there's nothing like cheese balls and sausage balls around the
yes,
holidays.
Oh yes. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
I think
That's
they're
kind of like
probably
one of the traditions that my mom started when I was probably 4 or 5, and so she's known for her sausage balls. Like she's not allowed to enter a party without the sausage balls. Like they're the
That's
kind of ones that will peek through the window and it's like, "Show me the balls. Show me the sausage balls."
nice. Bring your balls.
Yes, bring those sausage balls.
Grab your balls and come on over to my house.
There you go.
It's time to celebrate.
And they're even better with homegrown sausage that we get from one of our friends now.
Mm.
They're just even more magical.
Now, one
Okay.
thing that we always do is I don't have sausage balls, but I will do my fakey meatballs, and I like to put them in the crock pot with chili sauce and grape jelly.
yes.
It makes the
Yum.
most. Now, see, I can say chili sauce and grape jelly, and Monica's like, yes.
We do that
I
every year
can
too.
say apple pie with cheese, and she's like, oh my God,
Well,
stop.
that's because it's wrong. It's wrong.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah,
But
the grape
I
jelly.
love the grape jelly with the chili sauce. It's
Yes,
very
grape
good.
jelly and chili sauce is amazing with real meatballs or fake meatballs. They're good.
Yes,
Mm,
They're
mm,
so
mm,
good
mm.
and the easiest recipe ever.
they are. They're so good, and people
And the
always ask
chili
for them.
sauce that you're talking about is like that one that looks like the cocktail sauce, but it's not really cocktail sauce.
Yes, don't mix them up.
Yes.
Don't grab cocktail sauce thinking it's chili sauce.
Yeah, don't make that mistake.
Okay, so
No,
you buy like
I got the other sauce thinking it was cocktail sauce, and I was very disappointed with shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, it's super easy, Miss Ann. You basically take your meatballs, you throw them in your crock pot, you take a jar of chili sauce, you dump the whole thing in, and then you take a bottle, just a bottle of chili sauce, and then
And rinse it. I put a little
Oh.
water in it and shake it so you get
Yep.
every last drop in there, and it helps.
okay.
Me
Okay.
too. That's what I do too. And then a jar of grape jelly, like just a regular jar.
Yep.
Okay.
A little jar. Just a little jar is all you
Right.
need.
Okay.
And it has to be grape jelly, or can it be any jelly, or it needs to be grape?
Grape is the best.
Grape is the best. I've done it with other jellies and it's not as good,
Oh gosh, I
to
have to
grape.
write this down.
in
now.
my
I
opinion.
know.
Anyway, yes,
Well,
grape jelly and chili sauce. Alicia and I are
well,
soul sisters on the
I
meatballs.
was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say,
This is
I
our
have
thing.
questions for the twinsies over there.
And then when you
Uh,
take them out of the crock pot and put them on your plate, sprinkle Parmesan cheese on top.
But what
Ooh,
if I
that
have
level. I
some
haven't
like
tried that.
grape jelly that didn't set? Okay, I have grape jelly that didn't set. Can I still use that, or is it going to mess up the recipe?
Oh, that
No,
should work.
it's gonna be amazing.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because I'm shopping in my pantry as you're speaking. I'm like, okay, I have that there. Yeah, I got that
Yeah,
one
because
over
the grape jelly melts down anyway and gets
Right.
all saucy and delicious.
Oh, it would be.
It's-
It would be.
Oh my
Is
word!
it spicy? Is it spicy?
The chili sauce is not overly spicy. No.
Yeah, no, it just
No,
depends
it's
on
just a
your
good
meatballs,
flavor.
too. Yeah.
It's to flavor the meatballs. They're so good that sometimes I'll just make that for dinner with a couple of
Okay.
sides. That will be our main course. Will be those meatballs in the chili sauce. And like I said,
Yum.
you sprinkle them with Parmesan cheese when you put them on the plate. So delicious.
Yeah, so my daughter doesn't eat regular meatballs like ever, but she will go to town on these meatballs, which is hilarious to me because we get the Italian meatballs that you can get at like Sam's Club or Costco. It's like the big pack of like Italian meatballs, the little small
Mhm.
ones.
Right.
And the ones at Walmart, I'm sorry, Walmart, they're just not as good. But the ones at like,
Sorry, Wally World.
yeah, they're just not. They actually taste like fake meat, but you get the really good ones like from Sam's or like Costco or something like that. They're much better. The other ones are not bad. It's just they're not good.
They're not the same.
And y'all don't try to convince the Blands that these are good meatballs. They are meat snobs. They know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
You
Yeah, we're a
cannot
little-
trick them into eating those fake meatballs at Wally World.
And just so that for our listeners, you can't like make your own meatball concoction, form them into little rounds, and then throw them in the crock pot. They have to be cooked meatballs.
Yeah.
Don't
this-
put raw meatballs in. It's
Yeah,
got to be
no.
cooked meatballs. Because I know somebody's going to say, I made my own meatballs. I threw it in the crock pot. I put the stuff in there, and then I just ended up with a bunch of muck.
Yeah.
Well,
They have to be cooked.
if you cook your meatballs, like you can make them and cook them, and then one thing that I always do before I throw it in the crock pot is flash freeze.
Yes,
Just like
that,
you would
that
get
you
them at
can
the
do.
store.
Yes.
Then you can do it.
Just
Oh,
don't do
cool.
raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash
You're
freezing
amazing.
saves lives. It really
Oh my
does.
goodness. That's awesome.
But I'm definitely trying that recipe because that sounds so delicious. Do you eat it with a toothpick, or do you just like use both hands?
If you're gonna have them at a party, you can put them out with toothpicks.
Yeah.
I will serve them up for dinner, and we'll just cut them in half with a fork and have a bite at a time. It's just
So the like the big meatballs, are they like the little?
you can do big or
No,
little.
no, the
Okay.
other small. I mean, I use the small ones, and the small. If you put it like when we have it, we have like usually like 3 or 4 crock pots going on my table. So it'll be like something with chicken, something with beef, and then we do like the meatballs. So we have.
And then
either,
she
like-
does the little smokies with the barbecue sauce.
And we actually know we do the little smokies wrapped in like pigs in a blanket. So we do all the little pigs in the blanket with the little smokies. So we do those. But because I need finger foods for my kids too. So we have chicken nuggets, we have little smokies with the, the pigs in a blanket. We have the meatballs. And usually what I do is put bowls out because I'll make like a chicken taco soup or something. And so we have some sort of hearty soup. We have a chili. We have the little meatballs. We have the little finger foods for the kids if they don't want the heavier stuff. But yeah, usually we just put a spoon, like a big serving spoon in there, and they put them in bowls, like little paper bowls, and throw. But you can put them out with little like, toothpicks in them and be super bougie. I mean, if you're going to pick these up, for sure.
And there is
always
no
up.
shame. There's no shame in picking up one of those meatballs and popping it in your mouth with your fingers and then sucking the sauce off your fingers. There's
That-
no shame.
That would
That
be
may
me.
happen.
That would be me. I say
Yeah.
I'm bougie, but I
That
would
may
totally
happen because
dip my
when you're
hand in.
making them, you have to taste test them. So I'm just saying that may
Of
have happened
course.
multiple times during the holiday season when you're trying to make sure it's good quality and it's not poison for everybody else.
That's right. I'm going to have some meatballs now.
I know.
That's what if I did not have leftover cheese tortellinis and spinach soup in the fridge right now for dinner tonight, I'd be making me some meatballs for dinner because now I want them so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Without New Year's, here I come.
what were you going to say, Casey?
I was just gonna say, since you were talking about soups, what is everybody's go-to soup for the winter? Like for right after the holidays, because that's when all of us get cold. What is your kind of go-to, like you have to have it soup for the new year? Does
Well,
anybody
you
have a
have to have
go-to?
black-eyed peas. You have to have that.
Yeah, it's a good old southern black-eyed peas and collards.
Yeah, that's for good luck. For not that,
And for money. Collards is for money.
Yeah.
They're for
See,
money.
Black-eyed peas
I
are
know
good.
nothing of this except for just hearing about it, but we don't even make that kind of stuff. So that's just always been that's new to me. That since we've been down here,
That's
and
because y'all are not soup people.
we
That's
are not.
That's
But we
true.
do. I do serve a chicken taco soup for my New Year's party typically because it's just super easy and very good to use. And since it's the day after Christmas here, you can always use your leftover turkey meat. If you had a big
yeah.
turkey dinner, you can make all kinds of stuff with that leftover stuff.
Yes.
Oh, we
Turkey
do
meat.
that.
You
Yeah.
can make yourself
And
some, ham and potato soup. I mean,
mhm,
there's all kinds
mhm.
of great warm soup recipes out there for all those leftovers you have from the
Yeah,
holiday.
we do
Yeah,
that.
turkey
and
stew.
Yum.
I've tried to put together, I shouldn't say try. I've been successful putting together some of my soup recipes, but there's one that I always come back to in the wintertime and around the holidays. And here at our little store, where the bean section is, there are these jars. They're like half-gallon jars, and it's called Ken's. It's like Ken's bean soup. And
Oh,
it's just, they're like $3 for this big jar of beans that are ready to go.
wow.
Wow.
And I love just taking some of that Ken's bean soup and dropping in some veggie stock, and then I throw in a couple of bay leaves and then season with salt, pepper, garlic pepper, whatever. It is so delicious, and they've already done all the work for me. And
Wow.
it has, the split peas and the different types of beans. And so I don't have to worry about putting all my mixes together. Now I have dry bean mixes in my pantry as well for my long-term storage, my long-term pantry in case I need them. But every once in a while, I'll get a few of those jars and I'll pop those in the pantry because they make a very nice, warm, hearty,
They
uh,
do.
soul comforting soup. And especially if you throw a couple of bay leaves in there, it makes all the difference in the world with your seasoning.
Oh my goodness, that
And
sounds
then we
wonderful.
serve it. We serve it over a square of cornbread. We actually put the cornbread in the bowl and then ladle that bean soup with all the juices right on top of that cornbread. Delish.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. My mouth is like literally watering. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're all going to need to get a really nice hearty lunch after this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gracious. Well, we do black-eyed peas and collards on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but the ham and bean soup is always and for some reason if we do get snow, which is not very often, but when it starts getting really cold outside and the clouds are gray, I just start soaking beans. I mean, I'm ready to have some beans. So that's what we do.
I want to share with our listeners too, because I know somebody inevitably is going to say in the comments, I can't do bean soup or my husband can't do bean soup because it makes us have a grumbly tummy.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a teaspoon or two of baking soda and put it in your beans when you're cooking them,
Right.
that helps with that.
It does.
So, we've had family members like, oop, can't do it. It's like, I've got baking soda in it. And they're like, oh, it didn't hurt my tummy this time. So
Yes.
that's a little trick for people to know that you throw that little bit of bicarbonate soda in there, and that will
Mhm.
help with the enzymes that give you that grumbly tummy.
Baking soda and mustard also helps.
Mm.
So that's awesome. Good. So, Monica, when it gets really, really cold outside, what is your comfort food that you go to?
Oh my goodness. Probably I'll make chili for the family. That
Oh,
is the
yeah.
one. I'll
You
just do
got
chili.
Oh yeah.
With
It'll
a
just
cinnamon roll.
Oh, I have not done that. That is just not a thing here. I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to just make some cinnamon rolls and
I'm
then
going to bug you guys till you try it.
well,
I'm down to try it. I'm down to try it, but I do when I hear it, I am like, "Ugh," a little bit. Just a
What
little
about
bit.
you, Miss Sam? What's it do to you?
Oh, well, yeah, I do. I battle it for a couple of days, but it's always so good going down.
You would be down for some chili and cornbread?
Yes,
Or
chili and cornbread. But what
chili and cinnamon roll?
yeah, I was gonna say, what is that thing that oh yeah, no, I'm
Well,
not
it's definitely not done in Georgia. I'll tell you, chili and cinnamon roll is not done in Georgia. So that's
I
It's
was really surprised that on an earlier podcast, Rich from Old Sweet Farm, he's only a hop, skip, and a jump from me to the north in the next state in Minnesota. And I thought they did that up there too, but he wasn't down for it either. It's got to be like a Iowa, Nebraska type of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, Iowans?
y'all Iowans. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So,
What about
okay.
movies? Do you guys have specific movies that you like to watch at the new year?
Oh, well, I
No,
I
no, I
like
don't.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I still watch it.
Hmm.
Rudolph
Yep.
and any of the Christmas specials, but what is the Christmas? So it's the Griswold Christmas.
Oh,
It
yes.
makes me laugh
Oh,
every time.
A Christmas Story.
Christmas Vacation.
Christmas
Yes.
Vacation.
Oh, Christmas Vacation. I was so wrong. See, that's why the listeners don't need to listen to me.
Christmas Story is the one with the lamp, the leg lamp.
Yeah.
And little
Is that-
Ralphie gets his tongue stuck on the pole on the way to
That's what I was
school.
thinking. Yeah, the one that gets the tongue stuck.
Well,
Yeah.
every year in the first week of November, usually we start our Christmas movie list as a family, and we all get together and I just make a list and I run it and I just say, okay, here's all the Christmas movies we want to watch this season, and we just go for it. And that includes a special section of we just write Hallmark movies, and we will just watch Christmas movies, and we have specific ones that we watch leading up to Christmas, like Christmas with the Cranks is the
Mhm.
one we watch right before Christmas, because that is it's just hilarious to us. And we try to watch ones that are more friendly for the kids, because the kids
Right.
can't watch all of them. Some of them you think are good and you're like, whoa,
Like
whoa,
Die
whoa.
Hard,
Right.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and we make an entire list. It's been the most fun we've had with the kids in the past. I mean, we've been doing it for about 10, 12 years now. And it's just been a blast to be able to have that list that you can go back and look on and say, oh, because we watched the Mickey Christmas Carol. This is a classic for us. But we will finish up those movies leading into the new year. So this week still we'll be finishing up our Christmas movie list, and anything we didn't watch during the season prior to Christmas, we'll be finishing this week.
That's right.
So yeah,
We
we
kinda
enjoy
do the
that.
same thing. We start on Thanksgiving, but we start with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Because you have to watch
Oh.
that on Thanksgiving, and then we go right into the Christmas movies after that. And I don't know how many times we watch Elf. Elf and Christmas Vacation are on repeat on our own at the holidays.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Nice.
And then our traditional New Year's Eve movie is Rocky Horror Picture Show with sparkling.
I was
bubbly cider.
waiting
Oh,
for you to
God.
say that. I was wondering when you were going to say that.
It's always either Halloween, or which we don't do much now that everybody's out, but usually Rocky Horror Picture Show with sparkling cider. And how many of you make it to midnight still for New Year's?
We do, because we usually have parties.
Yeah.
Not I.
Yeah, I do. I make it to midnight.
We
I'm
used to. Now
I'm
we're kind of like, let's just go to sleep. We're tired.
Yeah.
So-
The party
No,
starts
no.
here at Ormsby Farm as we're partying at the midnight.
Well, we're talking about partying, and I think this party today is just about time to be wrapped up.
There we go.
It is. And we've had a wonderful hour with everybody. We're so glad that you joined us here the day after Christmas for this